Hi everyone, this is John from AU Packmule, and today we're going to talk about Game of Thrones again. Game of Thrones Season 8 with my friend Johnny B. Crazy. And I don't know about you, but I'm having some serious hangovers from that trailer yesterday. I think I talked about it all day long. Must have seen it 100 times. And I don't know about you, Johnny, but I am still ready to watch it again. How about yourself?
Yeah, I just kind of want to keep watching it to decipher it. But first off, let me thank you for having me on so much and rescheduling for me because of my natural disaster that I had went through. And thank you everyone for the support. I super appreciate and felt the love. I'm just happy to be here. And yeah, I keep trying to write a small script for the breakdown of the trailer, but I can't stay with one thing. I keep wanting to go in many different directions, and my mind is just wandering. So yeah, I feel your pain slash joy and excitement.
Yeah, no pain at all because I could handle a hangover from this much better, and I'm so glad that you did survive. Not only survive, but you were able to escape with just a bad internet connection. So I can handle that kind of bad news all day long. Rescheduling was no problem, but as far as thanking people, uh, Dog Sidious from the Dog Show filled in excellent for you yesterday. I was so grateful that he was here. He was going to be on, and I'll have him on another day anyway. But he filled in and jumped in both feet and was ready to go. So, thank you, the Dog Show. Excellent friend, and thanks for everybody that stuck with me yesterday during the change. I think everybody enjoyed the episode with Dog, especially with the trailer information. So yeah, so many great people are here, Johnny, to listen to us talk about this. So let's thank them. We have Mackenzie L. Burns, Linda R., Fandom D. Saint, who was on the show on Saturday, Julianne 089, Sir L.T. Giles, definitely one of the longtime friends of mine from this. Connie Super is also here. Linda Smith. Um, Eve was here earlier, and so was Khaleesi Clues. I'm sure she'll be checking us out later. Danny McKay has been on everyone. Claire Gray, all the way from the UK. Lauren's Corner from Scotland, who is on Sunday. I love you. And I can't wait to have you on again one day, and we'll be able to talk about this. Um, Bobby Cantolano, um, Santivia Major was here, and I know I'm forgetting somebody. Somebody's
I
going to
think,
slap me.
did you say Storm Still?
Storm
And
Steel, yes, exactly. No, I didn't say Storm Steel, but thank you.
the Carrie Neves? Nevia? I don't, what?
I think it's
I will butcher
Neves.
Nave.
Yeah,
Neves. See,
yeah,
I'm just trying too hard. DJ Kolnitsky, what's up?
yeah.
What's up?
Kalnitsky is here also, who has been on every live stream so far. So thank you for that. And Valar Mogulis to you, my friend. DJ is always here. Bubba Husky's here. Awesome. Thank you for showing up, my friend. All these great people are here talking with us about Game of Thrones season 8. I don't think we could talk about this enough.
No, I mean we have the the trailer. It dropped just in time for us rabid, drooling, foaming at the mouth fans. Everyone's happy. You see everyone just going crazy in the chat. Let's talk about the trailer, so we're gonna talk about it. What
No doubt about it.
I feel like Arya's running from death. That's kind of one of the main things I can take away from there. You can speculate that she's possibly running from the mountain, but it looks like Winterfell to me. And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Tony Teflon from Teflon TV, who was on Friday, did a video early this morning, dropped it, and he actually was able to see that the figure that she was running from was not only a figure that bled, meaning not a White Walker,
Mm.
but also was smaller than Arya, which is pretty. It limits the characters that it could be quite a bit.
Yeah, who could it be? Uh, can't think of anyone except the girl she killed back in
The waif.
Bravos.
The,
Well, even before that, the little girl whose face she used to take Mirren Trant. That would be the only person I can think that's smaller, because the wife's taller than her, isn't she?
yes. Yeah. Children of the Forest, White Daisy. Definitely, it's a possibility. But you've got to remember, um, I don't think Arya would be afraid of a normal white. Would you? I mean,
No, I mean, she might be scared, but not running like that. She's act like she's seen a ghost, right? No pun intended, but I'll take it.
yeah, something, definitely
You,
something like that.
I would love it if she was running from the mountain like that after killing Cersei, but that's just my dream. Uh, the only person that I could think of being smaller than her would be one of the children. What if it's Lyanna Mormont as a white and just freshly turned? That would be horrible. Everyone would hate D&D for that one. But there's not many people that are smaller than her. She's only
Right,
5 foot tall.
right. Yeah, Al
Ah,
Red Sox fan says hello, and Connie Super says old Dan White, and I thought that was hilarious, but I don't think she would be running that fast.
oh my gosh.
Unless we get some, M. Night Shyamalan kind of weird character. I don't know what that would be. Um,
Yeah, I thought of White Rickon, but I don't know. He still would be taller than her.
mhm. Plus,
But
John would know to burn the body, right?
yeah, you would think so. I feel like something's in the crypts. If there are even still bones, they could rise if, let's say, the concrete slabs or whatever's not holding them down, the rusted away swords. I know that's kind of only the books, but we have seen just bones rise and kill Jojen.
Hmm.
So we know that it doesn't take an actual flesh for this magic to work. So that's why I think the Night King's doesn't even need to go to Winterfell. He'll go straight to King's Landing. All he's got to do is fly over stuff, and his army will rise as he flies over the land. How many
All the
millions
dead
of dead
people.
people? I mean, that's
Exactly.
jinx.
All you have to do is make sure they're unburied, right?
Yeah, I mean, even the buried ones, we saw the ones come out of the ground, the hand. So, I mean, everything's up right now for me, especially they're going all out here. That's something I like about it. They are going all out. It's going to be a super action packed. I don't know how much actual Game of Thrones we're getting, but we're going to get a badass battle scene, a couple of them. I feel like it's not going to end at Winterfell. They're going to run. Uh, Jorah making his last stand. Grey Worm, that last kiss, that's got to be the last kiss. It's built up for this, for him to die, for people to be saved. And then is these people are in the vanguard. Brienne and Podrick is in the Podrick at the front of the vanguard. Why do they have him there? I think Jamie is going to escape as well because he's on the battlements and he has a. The only thing I worry about him is when he tried to attack Danny at the Field of Fire 2.0. He might try to do something stupid. Uh, but if he does, he'll save someone, of course. I still feel like he's going to make it back to King's Landing. But
I can see what you mean as far as not being able to stop talking about it because it's just so addictive. I wanted to say thank you to Nancy T for coming by. I didn't see you earlier, so I put the blanket up. I definitely wanted to make sure that I thank you for that. You're so awesome. Really do appreciate it. And so many new people have come in. I saw Hedge Hunt came in, and Mara Jade Starkwalker. Excuse me, I keep messing that up. I'm so sorry. Piece of Me Sand came in. Proto Peach came in, and thank you for all of your support. I really do appreciate it. Oh, I know what it was. Nope, that wasn't it.
he had to shut me up for a second because I
No, no,
talked
no,
for an
no.
hour.
I want you
I'm
to.
joking.
I want you to say what you have to say. That's why I had you on the show because I know you're excited. Um, but there were some new people that came in that I didn't say hi to, and I don't want that to happen.
Oh no.
Man,
Fishing
what's
with
going
Trav,
on?
man.
Oh yeah, he goes. That's what it was. Trav says, "Well, I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is Game of Thrones season 8. We got the prequel or the trailer yesterday that dropped, and we haven't stopped talking about it. Al, Red Sox fan, says hello as well.
What's
Thanks
up,
for
Al?
being here. Al will be on, I think, Sunday, and hopefully sometime around noon, and we'll get the announcement out about that as well.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
You got to get him to do some announcing, maybe dub over a trailer or something.
What
He's
does
got
that
that
mean?
voice. You know, in a world, one man. You know, one of those.
In a
Trailer
world, one
dubs.
man.
No, just kidding.
Damn.
Ned Stark. This is so much fun.
Is Danny pregnant? And it seems like it's a slight time jump because they've had time to prepare and make these weapons and kind of get settled. You know, it seems to me the speech we're hearing is possibly the speech Bran is giving to try to unite everyone.
mm,
Everyone's found out about everything, and he's trying to get them to work together toward a common goal, maybe by showing them some proof. What really has me intrigued too is Beric, Tormund, and Dolores Ed. What have they stumbled upon? Are they underneath the wall? Is there some kind of ancient armory they've uncovered
where does
back
this
from
come
the
from?
first? Oh, I don't know. I'm just throwing out some stuff, man. Told you I'm having fun with this. Told you.
I'm sorry. One of the things that I heard yesterday in one of the 472 reviews of the trailer is the comparison to Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings movies, and I couldn't help but say, right on. You've got this speared, unsullied army that look a lot like the elves from that, and then you
Oh,
also
they do.
have what's that?
Oh, I said, oh, they do.
Yeah, yeah, and then you have all of the Winterfell residents who look a lot like the Rohan riders that are in Helm's Deep in their crew, and then you also have the other characters, the stars, if you will, like Jamie and the Hound, and all of them getting ready, which are your Legolas and Aragorn and Gimli, and yeah, so it's super exciting because Gimli's short like Arya, and then you have Podrick and Brienne. Definitely, really enjoying the collaboration between those.
Yeah, that's a man, that's very apt comparison. It's almost right on the money. Bubba Husky's throwing out young Griff, uh, Khaleesi Clues. Oh my goodness! I swear, little Sam's shrinking with the seasons. He looked younger than he did last season. Hey, it may be happening. He could have that Benjamin Button disease. See what goes on there.
He was born a full-size White Walker.
Yeah, just in reverse. They had to be coming. He has to have something to do with it, but also you have to remember the mark that Bran has.
Mm-hmm.
They have this connection, whether you think Bran's going to be the Night King or not. I don't necessarily like that, but damn if the Night King doesn't look a lot like Bran. It's pretty uncanny.
Yeah, Mrs. Cronall, thank you for being here. And she has a great point. The one shot we get of Tyrion doesn't have snow on the ground. Could be in the south with Cersei. He could be looking up at Cersei. And that's a possibility. I've clued in that Tyrion, will betray Dany because he has always said that he is about his family and he's not going to betray them. So that could be. But if you look at the costume itself, and thanks to Heidi from Costume Co., we talked about this a little bit. The costume is actually different than the one that we see from Entertainment Weekly. It is all black with the um, with a little bit different. It doesn't have the blue mermaid scales, is what she called it, around his neck ascot area. So that was definitely there.
I think Jamie being at Winterfell, now that we seemingly have it confirmed, he will make it. I think that's going to make all the difference in Tyrion's decision. Uh, and maybe we'll see them talk about it. But do you even feel like Cersei's pregnant?
We said that in season 4 or 5 about Sansa with the Ramsay situation, and we found out that it's just because of the folds of the costumes themselves. And Heidi from Costume Code didn't really um, say that she was pregnant or that she wasn't based on the fold of the fabric, but that area of the fabric was reinforced. So it could be. Um, and at the very end of the trailer, we see her so sad to where the point where she is actually tearing, which can only mean either Jamie is dead and she learns about that, or she has lost the baby, which would be a reason for that.
If she loses her army, I feel like she could have that reaction because she almost smirks at the end, willingly accepting whatever her fate may be. But I feel like she's going to keep it till close to the end of the show, don't you?
The baby
That's no
army.
power. Her army, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. See, to me, when I saw her with the wine, obviously that means that she is not pregnant anymore. And two, that could be the poison that she's drinking so that she
Mm.
dies. Because we've heard so much about prophecy not being something we can rely on, and the Valonqar has been the talk of the century. So her dying by poison and taking her own life is something that I think Cersei is capable of, especially if she finds out that Jamie is dead and she did lose the baby. I don't think she would really want to go continue.
And kill herself the same way that Joffrey died with the strangler. There you go.
Or
The
Lady
hand.
Olenna. Yeah, Lady Olenna's poison.
It's Yeah, it would be easier to take the something else like essence of nightshade would be an even easier death, but I guess there would be some. It would be poetic if she did the strangler. She won't be taken. I could see her sitting in the throne and killing herself, not wanting to give the enemies the satisfaction of killing her. Um, but yeah, it's hard to say that Cersei will go out like that, but the foreshadowing seems there.
Hmm.
I do feel like John's gonna come and try to parlay with her again to get some help before the Night King gets there. That's assuming the Night King isn't going straight there while the other army is at Winterfell,
Right.
which, I don't know how they would work that. Um, I do see it more as they're just gonna escape Winterfell. But if the Night King and the dragon's there, um, it seems like there were some shots of the escape, right? Really quick. And both dragons seem unharmed, which makes me think that the Night King went elsewhere a little bit, but they could
Yeah.
just be messing with us. I know how trailers can be. They can be so misleading sometimes, especially when you're reading into them as much as we are. And yeah, Danny didn't look pregnant too much. I'm tending to get off topic here. We'll talk about one thing at a time. Sorry.
I love talking to you because you definitely are so excited as am I. I never saw anything in regards to Danny looking pregnant or in any way, but with the show we have so much to cover, and we also have um, so little time. And what they do, just like we saw last year, when they introduced Rhaegar and Lyanna's wedding, they just wrote it in super fast with Sam and Bran describing it. And so things can happen much faster than we give them, we think they can, just because of the way the writers are. We know that they can drag scenes out forever and also expedite them to the point where, a few seconds, maybe 2 minutes, and they're done, just like we did with this trailer. But what I want to talk about next is the Golden Company on Euron ships. I don't think anyone has really nailed this. I mean, everybody says it's Harry Strickland, which is the leader of the Golden Company at the current time. But I don't know that that's accurate. What do you think?
I want to say something. This would be funny if it happened, but what if it's just Dario?
Dario blonde instead of
Yeah, what if it's
like the
just
blue hair?
Dario? Oh my goodness, I would die if it was Dario. I know Bubba Husky pointed out a Fagon. I feel like if they were going to do that, we'd have some more of a hint at it by now. But it doesn't necessarily have to be Harry Strickland. As we saw, they changed up the Second Sons and the Stormcrows in the show. So
Mhm.
we could have a different person from history. And I honestly don't know. Um, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Throw out who. Let me think about it for a second. Who do you think it is?
It could be just a new character, the leader of the Golden Company that we don't have to have it be canon, or someone that we've seen before. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring in a new person, being that we've seen um, the Second Sons and the other sellsword armies. So this could be just a totally different crew with a new person. If they name him Harry Strickland, that's great. But yeah, it could be, John Connington for all we know.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was just gonna say that. That would be a fun little nod. And that would endear them more to the Targaryens, which we all think is going to happen. They're going to turn at some point. But do they have time in the series to kind of give the background of the Golden Company? I'm sure they can throw a paragraph out there, huh? Explaining why. That's how I feel Theon may get to Euron by.
Uh-oh. Did the tornado get you?
Yeah, I mean, the Cylons got me. Where did I drop off?
um, just the last probably part of your sentence.
Yeah, well, yeah,
There you go again.
yeah. Is it happening again? Don't, don't, damn it, man. Um, yeah, Theon's gonna talk to the Golden Covenant. I believe that's how they're gonna switch. And hopefully I'm not dropping.
No, you're not dropping at all.
Okay.
I just turned off my camera to see if I could help you there, but I don't know that that really does help, but we'll try. Um, in regards to the character, the main thing is that Euron does bring the Golden Company back, like he said he was going to do for Cersei, and we see Cersei at the throne with him and Euron. So we know they're at least going to start from King's Landing, which I think is important. Whether they maintain their loyalty to the Targaryen name, or they keep their loyalty to the person that paid them, because that's the whole purpose of the Golden Company, right? Is they've always been told that whatever they commit to, they keep, and that's their commitment beyond any other sellsword company, right?
Yeah, very true. If they were going over there, they already have in mind whether they're gonna turn or not, I think. Whether they're gonna be a turncloak or not, I think they already have that plan set in motion. Because they've already heard about Danny. Everyone's heard about Danny at this point. I do think, whether for good or for bad, that they will end up the white knife at White Harbor, which is possibly where John, Arya, if John lives to this point, which I think he will, where this mass exodus will be headed to. I think it's going to be headed out that way. I can't remember, where did Mr. Lewin say that the tunnels under Winterfell came out at? Do you remember?
He didn't because Theon didn't take him up on his offer. So, yeah, that wasn't conveyed at all.
So they could go anywhere with that.
Yeah, I mean, literally anywhere. Could be the Wolf's Wood. It could be
The Vale. That would be. I don't think they'll go to the Vale. I'm just throwing that out there. But the Wolfswood, the way it looked with the dragons flying over, I could see that. But that would be going away from King's Landing, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I feel like the most logical place for me is kind of near White Harbor, and hopefully we get to see the Wolf's Den, just because of the name, and it's pretty.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Honestly, I don't think that's gonna be developed at all, considering what we got last year from. I mean, we barely got to see Manderley, and I mean, it was, unless you knew who Manderley was, nobody would care, about that scene, if you're a show watcher only. So I don't think we're going to get that whatsoever. The one part that was exciting to me is that amidst all of this combat at Winterfell, we see the dragons flying way up north, or it looks like way up north, by themselves. And then later, Jon and Dany walk to them in an area where they're pretty much by themselves, in that area where the bones are, and it looks like they're getting ready to go for a ride. That part where they're away from everybody else is intriguing to me, because it seems like, they have a mission to go on. And what would that mission be if they're that far north? Are they looking for safe passage for everybody else to get out of there?
Yeah, they could.
The walkers have already passed.
They could be scouting. This could be after Jon finds out he's Targaryen and he wants to try to ride a dragon to even the odds. It would make sense. I think especially the shot in I think he finds out at the Weirwood. I think Bran's gonna pull a creepy and just roll his wheelchair out from behind the Weirwood and say, "I know who you are, Jon," and give us some crazy stuff. And he's gonna go down to his mother's tomb or Ned's statue, and to think. And Dany's gonna come down there, and you can see the look on his face. I think he's gonna know who Dany is, what she's done, and know who he is, and that he has to make a choice. I kind of can see them not being together right here, especially from this promo. Them kind of drifting apart, just kind of
Because of necessity, right?
right. And I don't know if how well Jon's gonna be feeling that. Hey Auntie, you want to get married?
Julianne's creepy wheelchair Bran. Yeah, I think Bran is at the tree when Jon is there. Bran is in front of him, kind of like we got last year with Sansa walking away. You could see the same exact scene. And then later in the season last year, we saw Bran was at the tree and behind Sansa the whole time. So I definitely think that we'll get that.
Yeah, he gives Arya the dagger there as well. So it's family time by the tree. And I think Jon's gonna go there to think, but Bran's gonna
maybe even Bran can connect him to the tree because of Jon's abilities, and connect him to Ned.
Yeah, the way the tree is set up as well. Do you think there's any connection to the ritual we saw in the Night King being made?
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
Ooh, it does seem a little foreboding. And man, it is a beautiful shot. I have to say they did great on this trailer. Some of the dragon shots seem a little interesting. on the CGI when they're walking up to it.
Interesting
But
how.
uh, it looks a little less than I expected, a little fake, just at certain points. But
Oh wow,
I'm not.
I totally disagree on that. I thought it was fantastic as far as the flying and also when they were next to each other. I at first I didn't really see a difference between the size, but then I realized okay, Drogon's on the right, and the coloring was just very subtle, so it made it look like they were supposed to look. Mrs. Cronel asked, "Will will we will stay?" I think what she's saying is, "Will we still get Lady Stoneheart and Howland Reed?" Um,
Mm,
my bet is 100% that we won't get Lady Stoneheart and Howland Reed unless it's in a dream or vision or something like that. I don't think we're going to see Catelyn Stark at all in any form, and
yeah.
they've avoided Howland Reed for so long that other than the Tower of Joy scene, we wouldn't get any of it. I don't think we'll see Mirror Reed either. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I think he's gonna fall by the wayside. But the imagination realm brought something up that I
mm,
thought interesting. Could they be fleeing to the wall?
yeah,
And
very true.
that would make some sense. And
Hmm.
then you have John and Danny getting on the dragons to fly to King's Landing, possibly after the battle, or because I don't see any. There's definitely dragons at the Battle of Winterfell. They just didn't show them to us, right? We got the fire everywhere. That didn't come from nowhere, unless they set the outer walls ablaze in the attempt to
Well,
keep
I
them
don't
out.
know if you're familiar with the construction of Winterfell, but there's two walls
Mhm.
around Winterfell. One is 80 foot high, one is 100 foot high, and it has a moat in between. And to me, that's almost like an obvious place for a fire
Mhm.
if you're going to have an enemy attack you. So that seems pretty common sense.
Yeah, it's we don't even see John and Danny at that battle either. We only see the like from Arya to possibly the Hound and Brienne. Not saying they're not there, but
Hmm.
something could have pulled them away from Winterfell. It would have to be something enormous that I
Yeah,
can't think of. But man, it just seemed like Jorah and Grey Worm and Brent, they're ready to die to make sure people could get away at that point. It seemed like
absolutely.
everything didn't work and they just sent out whoever was willing to go. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, the reads are definitely anticlimactic for me as well, Mrs. Cronall. Um, Claire is like, this would be really criminal if we just left her that way. But I think that's what they're trying to convey with Bran's emotionalist dismissal of Mira, is that he is not in any way connected with her emotionally. And the fact that he's not even grateful other than a slight thank you, I think is what he said. Um, yeah, so I don't think we're gonna get a whole lot of Mira or Howland Reed or any of them, but we'll see, right?
Yeah, it makes sense that they would possibly go back to the wall because we've been wondering as well, how in the hell are Tormund, Beric, and even Dolores said, how are they going to get into the mix? Well, if they go flee toward the wall, that would make more sense. I couldn't see. Do you see Beric and Tormund running toward Winterfell? They wouldn't know where the Night King was going, right?
Well, they're kind of trapped on the top of the wall, so they would have to walk to Castle Black and then go down the elevator.
Yeah, and seemingly they would kind of be in the dark. They would know what happened and be trying to get ready. Um, hmm. Yeah, it's hard to say what they're gonna do for me, but I feel like there's something they're gonna find either under the wall or shit. They
Magic
may make it to
magic
Winterfell.
swords, right?
I don't know about magic swords, but what if there's a cache of wildfire at the wall? That would be out of nowhere, but you know, because Jaharis did, if I'm not mistaken, dabbled in wildfire, if the alchemist can be believed. So maybe. We know Alisane went to the wall. We know a lot of weird things happened. She had some odd experiences at the Night Fort. She really didn't like it there. And it's for more than just the fact that it was too big for the men that she shut it down. She just literally hated the feel of the place. So, I don't know.
So the Winterfell location is pretty interesting. Obviously we got to see that in the trailer, but is there a purpose the Night King is specifically going there, or is it just that's where a lot of live people are?
Well, I think it has to do with Baby Sam and Bran.
Mm.
Uh, maybe he has to wipe Bran out to wipe out the magic that holds him, even though I think that might be a little simple. Now, you have the ability to reproduce, which is the main ability of any species. Well, that's kind of been taken from them. I feel like their last refuge, so to speak, I don't know if that's a good term, was Craster's Keep for uh, procuring their line since they can't reproduce. And that being taken away, I don't think Baby Sam is like some magic baby, but they want him. And I think uh, in days old, the wildlings would give more offerings to the White Walkers. Thus, they didn't really have any problems. But once you lose your ability to procreate, well, you got to do something at that point. So I think it has something to do with that, and then the magic of breaking that curse that we've seen Leaf put on him, which, you know, is pretty creepy. I kind of hope that, yeah, I hope that it's complicated, not just a simple, oh goodness, John kills him with a single swipe, which I don't think is going to happen.
No. No, for sure. Yeah, great answer on that purpose of going to Winterfell. I like the connection between Bran and Baby Sam, because we do see Baby Sam with Gilly in the crypts in one of the pictures. So um, very exciting to see that everybody's there, and that was another connection between Helm's Deep and the Winterfell fight, is that in the crypts are the women and children, along with Bran and Sam. So
Varys and Varys.
yes, Varys was there as well. The mermaid or merman.
Stop
Yeah.
spouting that. No.
Anything that connects Game of Thrones with Tolkien is fine with me. I'm all about it, because I could list off 100 things that are in conjunction with Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. So would I bet you
Ooh.
Tolkis 420 would agree with that 100%.
Yeah, will Varys hear the voice? Oh, what if Varys gets warged by Bran? And this is kind of that voice he hears in his
What
head.
the hell?
I know, right? Some crazy tinfoil from Johnny Be Crazy. No, I'm just throwing it out there. Not saying I believe it, but that made me think of how could Varys hear a voice? The Night King doesn't talk, but Bran does inside your head. So that's the only thing I can think of. It's super tinfoil though.
Joss Whedon has a question that I haven't ever come across before. He says, as a person named Packmule, if you had to choose, would you prefer a llama or an alpaca? If you, I only ask the most important questions. Yeah, that's a question I haven't ever been asked before. I would have to say alpaca, just because I think they're better as a pack meal. So we'll go with that. How's that for a tough question? Eve came back. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. Eve loved elephants longnecker. Great name, by the way.
Yeah, that was the toughest question too. Love it, Joss.
So are you we've covered basically Euron, the Golden Company, Cersei's you know what I wanted to talk about with you is Cersei's red costume, if you don't mind me going back to that. Um that's from the Entertainment Weekly costume release the day before that I covered with Heidi from Costume Co. What did you think about that costume?
It's intriguing. It's a feeling like she reverts back to the Lannisters. I feel like possibly she may have a change of heart if she does have a miscarriage. She does see that Jamie has left her and that maybe Jamie's right and she possibly comes to her senses. But no, I think it is possible that while she's pregnant, she tries to embrace House Lannister again with joy and carry on the line. Even though she loved her father. She didn't like him, but she loved him, and I think that may could carry on, uh, especially with her thinking it, and then she goes back to the dark queen that she is after she has a miscarriage. Although, it could just be a promo shot. No.
I don't think that's what it is involved in. And as far as the costume is way too expensive for just a promo shot. But
Okay.
it was really intriguing that she did revert back to the non waking queen, whether she's the Dowager Queen or the rightful queen or whatever. But she's bringing in all of the Lannister colors, so that was cool. I really like that.
Yeah, but you would like to see her almost embrace her family again before she goes. Nothing says she has to be evil to the grave. Everything about her character has some sort of possible redeeming quality. And what would be more surprising than Cersei turning good at the end? I wouldn't be more surprised. BBM would be happy as hell. Fandom Saint would just say, "Yay!" So,
Yeah, I don't think that that is as big of a possibility as Howland Reed coming back, but I hope so for fandom's sake. Let's put it that way.
I had to throw it out there for him. All possibilities. Now, I try not to discount much of anything, but I do feel like she's gonna be the ultimate villain, so to speak, at the end. But if you don't already feel for Cersei at all, I feel like you might. I don't. Do you see her separating more and being more evil at this point, or just kind of the same old Cersei? That's kind of a big question to me.
Well, I don't think we've really been able to see the full extent of Cersei's evilness, except for maybe at the Sept of Baelor, because that was with the help of Qyburn. And I don't know how much longer Qyburn's going to be loyal to her, which is a big factor. Um, and that could be one of the things that we see at the crypts that Arya is running from is one of Qyburn's whispers that he turns into a white like he did with the mountain. He could have a whole army
Oh,
of them. We just have no idea.
yeah, he'll definitely have at least one. There would be, yeah, him picking up studying the hand. It's in Qyburn's nature, and I could see him definitely turning on Cersei because Qyburn isn't in it for honor. He's in it for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever benefits him at the time is what he does. He's even stated it. So once it's not advantageous to be with Cersei, uh, I think he'll definitely cut bait. And great point. I do think he's going to have some whites and possibly Ilaria Sand or who was the which daughter did they have in there? We might not see them actually again, but we could see whites.
Wow, I didn't even think about that being one of the candidates because he has so many whispers that are small. Um, but she is about the same size as Arya, right? So if you had her way behind, the perspective would have made it look like it's smaller.
And she was a badass fighter. As a white,
Hmm.
she'd be pretty damn formidable.
Yeah, she
Mm.
had a staff, right, with a spear, like a spearhead, like like her father.
Yeah, that might be a little foreshadowing.
Daryl, we were just talking about that. So good point. Good timing on that. We were talking about Arya running from someone. Teflon TV had a video out earlier this morning that was talking about that being not only being a creature that bleeds, but also someone that's smaller than Arya, which it limits the um, options quite a bit. Renee of House Stark is here. Thank you for being here, all the way from Baltimore. I want to know what you're cooking for dinner. That's all I care about. Renee is always posting great shots of food. She's also been to Iceland for the Game of Thrones tour, which is really cool. So if you don't know her from Facebook, check her out. Always great stuff. Yep. Um,
I we're gonna see Arya with a bow staff, seemingly. Those shots of her kicking ass and taking names, and I think we were talking about this before the stream. Yeah, she's not holding a dagger. She may be holding a dagger of a line of things that Gendry and the
mhm.
people at the forge have made, but she is gonna have a dragon glass spear. She's gonna wield it like Oberyn. Uh, and like she did when she was training at the House of Black and White. She can do this with her eyes closed, so this is going to be badass to see, especially after seeing how badass they made her in season 7. Uh, she's definitely practicing on her way to Winterfell, that's for sure. Right, AU?
Yeah, I actually Khaleesi Clues just popped a question in the chat or a comment, and we were talking yesterday whether she was running from or running to something, and obviously with her turning around and seeing the person behind her as she's running from, she says, "I don't think Arya would run from anything unless it was someone or thing dear to her that she did not want to face or kill, a child, orphan that she bonded with in Wintertown, possibly. Um, if it's smaller than her, there's not really a lot of choices for her as far as the um, people in Winterfell. Wintertown is a totally different. That could be just an unknown factor. Um,
Mm.
but if she's bleeding like that, obviously she's been in a pretty stiff scuffle, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and maybe they could develop someone. Isn't the crying girl's name Weasel in the books? That clings onto Arya. Maybe they could develop something of that nature, but I'm trying to think of someone that Arya cares about that much besides Jon. Like she cares for Sansa, she cares for her family. Uh, but maybe, yeah, a child, an undead child may bother her, or someone she just killed
Mm-hmm.
coming back to life. What if Cersei drank something that would bring her back to life? Qyburn manages to make some kind of concoction that brings her back. That would be some crazy stuff. And then we see this Cersei lurching like Frankenstein's monster after Arya. I'm
Did you
sorry for going off the rails.
did you eat some tinfoil? Because I think you couldn't put enough tinfoil around your body to come up with that theory.
Oh goodness.
Holy smoke! Seriously, drink something to become a white.
Well,
By
what if
Kyburn.
she does? She could do something to where when she dies, she knows she's gonna come back, or she's died. The Night King's close, and she comes back before Arya can get out of the room.
Yeah, my
Um,
guess is going to be a Kyburned science white. Let's put it that way. Uh, JR from Geek Chat One just came by. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it so very much. Yeah, thank you.
that ain't my Cersei, BBM. I'll stick with Ilaria's daughter, which I can't remember her name right now.
Gotcha. One of the sand snakes,
Yeah, yeah,
which she would definitely be dead for a while, right? So Kyburn could do the turning on her without any problem.
yeah. And then you have yeah. The bleeding is what gets me. That's that's what gets me every time, though.
Well, the science part of the whites we haven't seen injured, right? The mountain hasn't been injured since he's been
True.
turned. So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I still assume the mountain would bleed, even though he looks a lot like you think Cold Hands would look, with all the blood rush to the should be the hands and feet, but it looks like it's even rushed to the mountain's face. But I'm sure that part of that has to do with the manticore venom, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. Either that or it's
Imagination
Rob
realm.
Stark's head, which is an old theory. Um, Mrs. Cronall is going to stick to the old Nan White chasing Arya with her needles. Click, click, click. That's
Oh
a great
goodness,
part of the story.
I don't think it's Rob Stark's head. It still looks like the mountain's head when he took off, when he
Oh
got the
yeah,
small
it's definitely the
glimpse.
mountain.
Uh,
I'm just I'm just saying that's
oh,
one of the theories.
you're trying to be tinfoily like me. No.
No, no, no. I'm just telling you what's out there, man. You are way past me. You are like on Saturn
Hey, I'm just trying
tinfoil.
to have fun, man. Just trying to
You
have
are.
fun.
We are out. We are definitely having fun because this is like you know, a bunch of women playing bridge and talking it up, right?
Yeah.
Because there are so many things that we could discuss and possibly go into. But as far as what I think, my bet is going to be a science white from Kyburn.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that. And go with Occam's razor there. That's the simplest answer. But I don't like to do that. And
Oh my
sometimes
gosh.
D&D doesn't either. So I have advantage.
Lucifer Means Lightbringer talked about crypt sex with Danny and John, and I was like, oh please no, no, no.
That would be awful.
We already got the sex with the Lannister sex with Joffrey's grave site. So please, no more dark stuff. We can we're good. Um,
I'm
Speaking of
pretty
John
sure
and
Danny.
Danny,
Oh,
they had some pretty interesting costume changes. Um, one of them with Danny is white fur with the red in between it, and then she goes to an all leather with fur trim, and then a red ascot, and it was almost like she was at a fashion show, um, ready to go. So, do you think she's going to be involved in a lot of the battle?
yeah, the one almost looks like a weirwood, and if she's gonna be involved in the battle, uh, if she's pregnant, I feel like John's gonna try to keep her from that. But her being the blood of the dragon, uh, I don't think is gonna stand for it. Now, you could say that if she's pregnant, she'll do everything she can to try to keep that baby, but you can't keep the baby if you're dead. And I feel like she'll realize that. I think she will be in the fighting, but just period. I take him back from the beginning. Uh, I think that's kind of she's gonna keep a spot close to Drogon. She may not even stay in the inner keep just for the fact she wants to stay closer to her dragons. Because I don't imagine they're just gonna let them chill inside the walls of Winterfell.
Agree 100%. Yeah.
Uh,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. You were laughing
no,
at something someone said.
I was thinking with the costumes, I think they're just getting very fashionable with it. Like you said, they're going a little more away from this medieval look, um, and I think just mainly looking good. But you can read a little bit into it. But she didn't look like a weirwood though. I don't know how much you
Someone
can
said
go with
that
that.
she looks like a werewood with the red and white, and oh my gosh, I don't know how many connections we can have between Ghost and that and the werewoods. Are they going to play a factor, the werewoods, in the season?
Uh, uh, That's hard to say. I almost thought at one point the Night King would want to destroy the Weirwoods. That doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. I wouldn't throw that out. Uh, but I think at some point, Bran has to touch a weirwood to be able to extend his powers fully. And I think we're going to see that. He's going to try going possibly in the past, in the future, and not necessarily change anything, but kind of see predictions and outcomes in a Doctor Strange sort of way. I could see something like that from Bran, and then he comes back knowing exactly what they have to do, but it's going to be hell. Just getting the people together and to work together, I think that's going to be uh, kind of a big key. Uh, but he could end up woven in between the Weirwoods at the end, even though I still kind of feel like he's going to die. But would that kill the old gods if the three-eyed raven is gone? Or is there another three-eyed raven waiting somewhere that will be awoken?
Yeah, I think Bran is the last of those for the time being, being as young as he is. But Storm Steel asked about the Arya running away in the beginning. Could it be that Jaime told her to and Jon to run, and she was escaping the White Walker onslaught? Definitely a possibility because it was after we've seen some battle going on with her, and I think she's running away from something a little bit more specific. Uh, in other words, that person is actually on the chase and pursuing Arya specifically. What do you think?
Yeah, I haven't looked again at who was following her. I have to check it out some more. But in a way, I kind of feel like it could be her running after the battle. The Hound has held off a White Walker, possibly giving his life to save her to get away. Her seeing the Hound get the shit kicked out of him, may give her a little pause to run. But when you think back on it, the way she is scared, and she's not scared of anything anymore, it would have to be a White Walker or, as you pointed out, one of the undead. But she's definitely scared to the point where she seemingly knows she's going to die, and she's alone. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that's very key. Some people have pointed out, is it a faceless man? Which, I think we talked about it a little bit. It could be the girl Arya killed. It could be the waif, because the waif technically isn't dead. If you remember, Jock and Nagar turned into the waif, and the waif turned into the Jock and Nagar. Anyways, after he killed himself, so you
If
could
they
go
wanted
around and
her
around.
dead, she would have been dead before she left Bravos.
Yes,
That's my
yes,
opinion.
she has to fulfill a purpose, and I don't think she can get away having the powers in the end. But I don't feel like this is at the end. Do you? Seems like after the battle to me, but I don't know. It could be King's Landing. It's got me having a headache. A good one though, because it keeps circling back around here.
Right. I mean, after you've seen this 100 times, you're like, oh, that connected with that. Is this how far in the different episode is this? And are we really seeing what we think we're seeing? And yeah, very cool trailer. I think everybody has rated this that I know of out of 10, a 10 or above. What would you give it as a rating?
Oh, I'd definitely give it a 10. The excitement factor, the way they put it together, the tease factor of this trailer is just magnificent.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we don't even talk about the Hound being surrounded by fire and seemingly having to embrace his fear right there. I wonder if those are his last moments too. I mean, it's so intense, man. There's a billion other little scenes I could.
Renee of House Stark says she agrees with me as far as the faceless men and her leaving Bravos. It doesn't make any sense. I'm glad that you agree because your opinion means a lot. So thanks. And Fandom D Saint says 15 out of 10 because there's 2 Cersei shots. Very cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sloppy with the faceless men. They could tie that up in a knot, in a bow, but, what you have to find an end for Arya. Like, she's not gonna be a lady. She's not just gonna live happily ever after. Lots of people think she'll sail west of Westeros. Um, I
Joss,
feel like
sorry,
go
Joss Whedon has a comment. I genuinely wonder if the actor Daniel Portman will ever start a podcast.
ahead. Probably.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh, goodness.
That's awesome.
Ah,
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Hallery. I think I said that before, but let's hope so, Daryl. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I definitely think Arya is going to stay in Westeros. Visenya Targaryen is her, her look-alike kind of thing, and that's how I interpret it, being there with Jon,
mhm.
because I think Jon will live and be left without Dany. So we'll see.
So you're in the you think Danny will die as well?
In childbirth, yeah,
Mm. Yeah, it seems
because
very
Jon can't die in
foreshadowed.
childbirth. That wouldn't be quite right.
No, no. And him not wanting to live so much, it would be a pain. Him having to live, plus him dying twice would be redundant for a TV series. It just would not have the same effect. People would just be pissed. It wouldn't work. So I agree with you there. If anyone out of the two has to die, it's Danny. But people are still gonna flip their wigs if Danny dies, especially the hardcore Danny fans, no doubt. But I don't see her living, especially with her visions, the way everything has unfolded. It seems as if she's going to give herself for the greater good somehow, whether it be a baby, whether it be ultimately saving everyone by riding Lightbringer, if you want to look at it that way. So many theories, even though John is technically the Song of Ice and Fire. Who says there has to be just one? There could be a few of them. There's literally a dozen people that meet the criteria of Azor Ahai, if you want to
Exactly.
break it down. So
Yeah,
I think,
almost every major character.
yeah, I think that there's a definite point to that. Definite point to all of them coming together to be able to defeat it. Because there can't be just one. This isn't Highlander. So,
Mrs.
yeah.
Cronal asked, "What bones were the dragons standing over with Jon and Dany,
Mm,
Drogon and horses?" Dragon or horses, I guess is what she's asking. I think they're just part of their food that we saw in season 5, I think it was, where Drogon took Dany to the grasslands and the where she escaped the fighting pits, and I think that it was a similar looking um, area where there was burnt ground, and then you had the bones, etc. Because this is obviously a lot of snow around that. Um, so I think it's just where they've chosen to eat, and the bones are just from the animals that they have eaten. Obviously, if you're a dragon and of that size, you would eat it probably whole or in
mhm.
parts. You wouldn't leave the bones intact. But that's my guess. What would you say, Johnny?
Uh, Definitely, probably sheep, horses, whatever they can find. You have, I think, caribou and elk and stuff like that. At least hoofed animals with horns there. So that's pretty much their nest, in my opinion. I think they're going to get a little bit away from man. They don't like being right up on people, so I don't think they'll be even next to Winterfell the more I think about it. I think they'll be perched up somewhere where it gets a lot of sun. Uh, and it'll be somewhere they can walk to, just like Danny and John did, and just I feel like that scene's John just getting up his nerve to ride Rhaegal after finding out his heritage, because that's the only way they're going to be able to defeat the Night King.
And then he's going to go, "Hey, Danny, guess what? I am a dragon rider."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh goodness.
uh,
Ah, that's funny. Uh, yeah, I don't know where I was going. You threw me off. I
I'm
think
glad. I'm glad.
everybody's been waiting on John to ride a dragon, and you know he's gonna ride his father's namesake. So why not? Why not? I'm down to see it. We're going for the gusto in season 8. Uh, hopefully Cersei lives for Fandom Descent's sake. I just don't want him being upset for a while. Much love, BBM. um, hmm. I Yeah, I really hope we get a Dance of Dragons 2.0, which I'm almost positive they're gonna do, given the budget. Um, will both both dragons die? Will Rhaegal and Drogon die? Do you think both the living dragons will die? AU?
Yeah, actually, all everything, dire wolves, dragons. Yep. Um, yeah, definitely for sure, 100%. They're goners. That's one of the reasons why I think Danny's going to die. But the other thing in regards to the dire wolves, did you think that we saw the dire wolves, or do you think it was all horses? Or because we got a furry creature that's furrier than what I know horses to be. So
Uh-oh, there's a direwolf in the background. Um,
get him, James.
they have to have some sort of direwolf action. The fans will be in uproar if we don't see Ghost, and I feel like this pack that we saw with Nymeria wasn't for no reason at all. I believe they're going to come to the north. Um, it's hard to put it together because she seemingly doesn't have a connection with Nymeria like in the books, but why are you showing us Nymeria and her wolf pack? Only thing I can hope for is they come out of the woods and attack the side or save Arya at some point, but that's just me being a fanboy probably.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll get at least Ghost, I think. I don't know if the furry thing was a direwolf. I can't go that far, but I do believe we'll see him. They're gonna give us all these dragons. They better give us Ghost. Hashtag free Ghost.
Free Ghost for sure. Thanks, gray area, for that. Um, yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I think it's been pretty fantastic of a um, episode as far as the trailer, the beginning of the trailer, and I think that when she's running, she'll leave whatever cave or crypt or whatever it is, and then that's when the dire wolves will come.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be a nice spider. Absolutely, Daryl Galt. We're totally into speculation realm, but we do know it's smaller than, or at least its perspective is smaller than Arya is. So we'll see.
It's Tyrion as a white. No.
I don't think she would ever even run if Tyrion was a white, and she would be just like, psh, psh, you know, cut him
Yeah.
into 6 pieces
Uh,
like a sushi chef.
yeah, to going back to the sentimental thing, it would Lyanna Stark, not Lyanna Stark, Lyanna Mormont. That would be crazy if she turned into a white. Uh, but I like where you're going with it, AU, with the Kyburn whites. He's
Mhm.
definitely doing something there. Cersei's not just sitting around twiddling her thumbs. She's working on new weapons to take care of this threatened army. So that
Yeah, I
makes
mean,
perfect
if
sense.
you're a book reader or a show watcher, who would have ever guessed Cersei would have reached out to Euron to be in alignment with? Nobody would have speculated on that because of the way that Cersei is and the way that the Greyjoys are looked upon, especially considering how many times the Greyjoys have attacked Casterly Rock, and even in her lifetime, they've done that. So that would have been the last person she would have aligned with, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah, it's definitely a means to an end, and I feel like she already has some sort of plan to get over on Euron. Whether we'll see that come to fruition or not, I can't say. But I don't think she's just sitting by and will actually marry Euron after the war is done.
Mm.
Uh, she's not that person. I feel like she will be uh, basically single. That's kind of gonna be her curse, and she may not her curse. She's gonna embrace that. I think she's gonna embrace being an individual, being herself and only relying on herself, because she said many times she can only rely on herself.
Hmm.
So this Jamie leaving and all of that's definitely the final breaking point. Because yeah, enough
Brit
said. I won't.
Brit says that Euron went to Cersei, but I think maybe I'm wrong. I really don't know for sure, but in my mind, it was Cersei that reached out to Euron. A Mackenzie L. Burns, thanks for being here. She asked, "Do you think we could have a cold open this year?" And if that is a definite possibility, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't rule that out as a possibility. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, we may see a cold opening of the White Walkers, and kind of to maybe pay a little homage to the first episode, uh, and we get them possibly taking what's the Karstark's castle called?
Carhold,
Carhold. No, is it Umber's North farther? Sorry for having a
the
brain
last
fart
hearth,
here.
you mean?
Yeah, the last hearth. That's the
Yeah.
furthest one north. We could see them, possibly kill little Ned Umber and have Ned Umber rise back as a white. Uh, you know, that'd be a pretty cool cold opener, and possibly some hints at the Night King separating his forces, which is logical in my opinion. Why would you just gather up in a clump and go straight to one place? I think the separation of forces was foreshadowed when we saw the little group of perfectly placed whites beyond the wall for John and him to kill. It almost makes me think the Night King wants all this to happen.
Well, the
And
husky says the car hold, or it's not car hold, it's called
oh,
car lot.
that's it. That's
It's
it.
the car
Carlock.
lot.
Yeah. Sorry for my brain malfunction.
No, he was teasing. He's
I
teasing.
know. It's hilarious though. Um, Avis. I don't even remember what I was saying.
We were
But I
talking
do
about,
think that would be a fun cold opener.
yeah,
A little
where
bit
the
of the white dragon. Oh, oh snap!
the white dragon. I don't think that was part of it, but we'll move on. Okay. Um,
WIGHT. Why?
Jamie's definitely into helping the Starks. I thought that was pretty epic. Um, and it looked like it was Brienne that was behind him, not Theon. So we don't really actually get a Theon shot in the trailer. Do you think they'll be fighting side by side, Brienne and
mm,
Jamie?
Brian and Jamie. No, no. Jamie's probably gonna be on the battlements. I don't think to his credit, he realizes he's not a strong swordsman anymore, but he does have the knowledge to be a battle commander, and I think they'll use his strengths. We kind of see it a little bit in the episode, him walking the parapets, I think it's called. And if he, at some point, he's going to have some hand-to-hand combat, right? But I don't think he's in the vanguard with Brienne and Pod. Short, long story short.
I want him to have a hand like Captain Hook, where he's got a dragon glass dagger on his end of his hand, so he
Or
can just
Ash from the Evil Dead, something like that.
yeah with the chainsaw. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. uh, so we also see Jorah with Heartsbane, the Tarly sword. I always thought it was going to be the Hound with Heartsbane. What do you think of that change?
I mean, Jorah's went through a lot to just die. I think everyone's expecting him to die because he's old, because he wants to, protect his queen. But I think Jorah's end story would be him being accepted back into his family. I think that would be a good ending for Jorah. Even though I could be dreaming for some Disney stuff here, Him having Heartsbane gives me a little more confidence that he's gonna win. I don't not win. He's gonna live. You know, I don't think he would have that legendary sword just to get killed
Well,
out in
this is
the.
Game of Thrones. You
I
either
hope not.
win or you die.
Yeah, I
So
guess.
in that respect, he is going to win. If
True.
what you're saying, yeah.
But yeah, I could see him definitely striking down some wipes with that. Having Heartsbane, does that mean he's gonna stab his Kalishi and become pull out Lightbringer? Ah, don't let me get tinfoil here at you.
Too late for that, buddy. Way too late for that.
Nah,
You've
that
got
just
you got the tinfoil carpet that you walked in on. So
it throws a lot. It throws a curveball into some of my theories I had, especially Jorah getting it. I just didn't see Jorah getting that. I don't know. What do you think about it? Because
it
it does
was
throw me
really
off.
shocking to me because I wasn't even looking to identify it until it was mentioned um, in Azora Hype's live stream with Lucifer Means Lightbringer. They did a live stream immediately after it came out, and someone in the chat pointed it out. I was just shocked because I didn't have time to even notice it. To me, it seems like it's a little too big for Jorah. Um, that's not his type of weapon. It doesn't look like. But when you've got Valyrian steel, it's like ice. Anything. Just because it's big doesn't mean it's too heavy. So
Ned didn't have ice in his hands though. He was beheaded by ice. That's funny. No, Britt says ice was Ned's, and that didn't stop him from
oh,
getting
gotcha,
beheaded.
gotcha. I didn't read that. Yeah,
Oh, that's funny
he cut
too.
off his own head.
Basically, but don't boonch.
He fell on his sword, so to speak.
It, yeah, it's hard to think that Jorah's gonna make it out of the Vanguard alive. He would seemingly have to retreat at some point, and I don't know if he would even do that. Especially given
Retreat
that, yeah, especially
only if
given what's at stake.
I don't think he would have a problem retreating as long as he knew Danny was safe.
Yeah,
That would be my guess. Um, Obviously, they're going to do, Danny and John or Danny herself will do flybys up to that point, and that's one of the reasons why everything's on fire.
yeah,
Wouldn't you agree?
yeah. I can see that, and it's gonna be a nighttime battle.
Mm-hmm.
What a spectacle that will be with the dragon fire blazing and the steel ringing, clanging, clamoring. No, uh, I'm gonna enjoy it. I know that much. I think Podrick here, we're gonna see him uh, kind of be a little bit badass. I believe he's still gonna uh, have trained. I know Brienne can beat the hell out of him, but Brienne can beat the hell out of a lot of people. So I
Yeah, that's
wouldn't
true.
put it against Pod. I'd say he'd hmm, yeah, I say we'll be surprised by Pod, pleasantly surprised by him, and I just can't wait to see the Arya bow staff, or sorry, spear.
Johnny, you've been covering Game of Thrones for a long time. You've done probably more videos either by yourself or in collaboration with other people. Um, and I just want to say thank you for being such a great producer of content and a creator. You've encouraged so many other people, and that's a an attribute that I always cling to, because if there's one thing I want to do is encourage other people to do that and be creative in this process. Um, One of the things that I did want to ask you in your creative process is which part of the story, whether it be Fire and Blood, The World of Ice and Fire, or any of the books or any of the show, what is it that you saw that you think points to the end of this story?
Mm. Ooh, man, that's a toughie. Well, definitely Ned and Lyanna. Pointing toward Danny passing away, giving birth to possibly some kind a child for John. But man, that is a tough question, AU. In Fire and Blood, we have a lot of hints there. You can even compare Cersei to Visenya a lot,
See,
especially
I
Visenya
softened you
in.
up there with the compliments, and then I hit you with the hard question,
No,
and
man.
it's really tough. So if you want a few minutes to think about it, we could talk about something else, and you can come back to it.
No, no, no. Back to my point about Cersei kind of being Visenya. In Visenya's later years, it was seemingly thought that she was poisoned, and this kind of goes back to your thought about not the strangler, but her actually ingesting poison at this point. And I definitely foresee that. I think it's a little too easy to think someone's just going to walk up to her and strangle her. Um, like a with Arya, I think she's going to embrace being no one, not necessarily being killed, but she will metaphorically die and not be Arya Stark of Winterfell anymore because I don't feel like she needs that. And that's not even really part of her life. Plus, we're going to see it be destroyed here. So I think Arya's metaphorical death is definitely foreshadowed in all the books and the show, um, but not her physical death. So don't get me twisted on that one. Also, with Brienne, uh, as far as the books go, it's hard to say. She seems to be brought down a lot more to earth, especially after the biter experience. But I do think she will be gravely injured in season 8. Uh, Coming from the books, she will have a slightly darker look on life, not an evil look, but she will see it a little more for what it is because she still has this slight wanderlust, to use a Westworld term, that uh, she knows what a true knight is, and she's not very confused about that, but she's still on the fence about thinking there's good in almost everyone, if that makes any sense. Um,
Can I interrupt you for just a second?
no, but go ahead.
Just wanted to say good night to Mrs. Kronall, all the way from Switzerland. Take care, my friend. Just really appreciate you coming by. I know it's really late, so take care, and I hope you stay well.
Thank you so much, Miss Cronall. You're awesome. Um, yeah, Sansa, seemingly being set up to be some type of ruler in the end. Um, Queen, maybe, if we still have this system of government after everything's said and done. I feel like she will be the main, what would you call it, a matriarch of the people.
You cut off there, buddy. Sorry.
Of course, I dropped.
Yep.
Um, I feel like Sansa will be a matriarch of people at the end, shown by her progression throughout the books and the show, the game of politics and how to rule, and we've seen that a little bit here. Maybe not as developed as you would like, but she is seemingly getting smarter, and that's one thing I like about Sansa because in the book you can read her mindset. In the show, they have to try to portray it on screen, and sometimes it gets lost in translation, and you just think Sansa's stupid, which I can't like really argue with people too much on, especially if they just watch the show. Um, hmm, John, he's definitely the last hero, and he's already given his life. So now he's gonna have to relinquish any bit of anything he's held on to and reluctantly take control. I don't know. You're killing me with the tough questions here, and I'm just rambling. Oh,
Sorry, I just muted myself. Uh, you've covered a lot of the characters, so I don't really expect. I wasn't expecting it to be, a whole rundown of how it would go down, but something specifically that you picked out from the books, like the Cersei, the Senya connection, I thought was pretty cool. So, um,
Johnny be blabbering.
Johnny definitely. No, there's nothing wrong with that because that's how sometimes you get your thoughts out. You realize think about what you were saying after you've said it and come back with a different response. So, um, speaking of responses, why don't you tell us what's coming up on your channel and your collaborations? Because there's probably a legal pad worth of material you could talk about.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, you can find me on Johnny Be Crazy, but tonight I will be on Mackenzie L. Burns' channel covering The Watchers on the Wall. Great episode. Season 4 finale? I think. Don't quote me on that. Also, tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, which is noon Eastern, will be the first installment of the Nooners of Locations and Lore podcast. It's going to be a premiere with The Night Who Smoked the Laughing Tree. We talked about Hard Home, and this will be the first of a few installments of my friends coming on talking about any location that's their favorite, and we get into all kinds of tinfoil. You know me. Also, Friday, because I run 50 channels, the Cylon Johns and Jills at 9 p.m. Eastern will be covering. Don't even remember the episode, so don't quote me on it, but just go to the Cylon Johns and Jills. Uh, and we cover that every night at 9 p.m. East, every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's spoiler free. And my Quickie of Ice and Fire series I got coming out every Sunday around 1 p.m. Eastern. Go check that out. Just covering all the characters from the A Song of Ice and Fire universe. So, yeah, I could probably tell you more, but I won't keep you all day, AU.
If you don't see Johnny's comments in the chat and subscribe to him, Mackenzie L. Burns is in the chat. She's one of my moderators, so definitely go to her channel and check that out. Also, in the description of this video, Johnny has all of the connections. So smash all the click buttons and all that fun stuff. Speaking of buttons, thank you so much, everybody, for hitting that like button. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to the channel. It helps in regards to the engagement of the video. So thank you. I really do want to appreciate and appreciate all of the people that have been here. So many great comments, so many great people. So thank you very much for doing that as well. Johnny, would you like to say goodbye to anyone in particular, or do you want to say goodbye to everybody like you normally do, or do you just want to say goodbye and let me say goodbye to everybody?
Goodness gracious, I'll just try to read the names in the chat real quick. Thanks everybody for coming. AU, thank you so much for having me on. Game of Theories with Marie, The Imagination Realm, Mackenzie L. Burns, The Fearless Mermaid. Hey Amanda, how you doing? Julianne89. Let's see. Brit the Change, Vanessa and Amnesty. Forgive me if I butcher your name. Bubba Husky. Let's see. Catherine Harding.
Mary Jade Starkwalker, Professor Cicely Cogsworth, Julianne 089, Catherine Hardig, Bubba Husky, Brit the Change, Bobby Catalano, The Imagination Realm, Tulkas 420, the coolest name there is from the Silmarillion, thank you, and Vanessa Amnesty. So thank you.
Yeah, Sonny Frank, and if anybody we've missed, I apologize, but I just thank you so much for having me on. I've had a blast. No
Yeah,
internet.
it's good. It's good for you to be here. I think I can't even remember the last time we did a live stream together. So it's way too long, definitely.
For sure, man.
Again, thank you for Nancy for your beautiful blanket in the background, as you can see. I think I'll hang that for the rest of the 30 days of live stream. She's just an awesome person, so creative and generous. So thank you for that. And thank you for everybody else. Tomorrow, by the way, we'll have Kyle from Azora Hype, and then Marie from Game of Thrones Friday. So that is what's coming up for our channel. We still have Al Red Sox fan and Rays de Alba will be on, Gemma from Secrets of the Citadel, Gray Area, Kevin from Bats Production, Robert from In Deep Geek, so many more creators. So stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you can be alerted. But in the meantime, you guys have a great day, and thanks for being here.